What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Bible Podcast. I am Rob. That is Rob. I am Rich. That is Rob. Uh, you know, it's been a rough day. No, it's been fine actually. Um,
It has been a rough day because the Celtics can't stop with this bad injury luck.
okay, we're gonna get right into this. um, I don't get it. You knew this isn't like a new injury. Like, why didn't he get the surgery right after the season?
Yeah. We're just keeping it simple. So that's my concern. That's everybody on Celtics Twitter and the internet's concern in general is like, why wasn't this a July or August thing?
Yeah, like right away.
I agree. And then, I saw someone tweeting this and I was retweeting and replying to it. You turn back the clock to the end of March, the meniscus that me and you covered and talked about a lot and said, like, you don't want it to linger into next year. We want to get it over with now, even though we're heading into the postseason, even though we've had a history of injuries preventing us from where we want to be. And he really only missed two. Like, that's why so many Jets fans were like, okay, Wilson's going to be back week 2 or week 3. It's because it was similar to this injury where it's a torn meniscus, and he only missed 2+ weeks, and people were like, oh, he might be out till the conference finals. I was in distraught when it happened. We talked about it on this podcast. Like I said it to everyone. Then he only misses, 2+ weeks, and he came back game 3 after the first 2 games of the Celtics-Nets series opening round. Before the sweep, he returned for game 3 in Brooklyn, and he was limited, and we maybe didn't see 80+% of him until the conference finals against the Miami Heat. But, we had to know that there was some lingering parts that may have came with it, I guess. And at some point we knew it would have to be cleaned up, whether it might be a repair, some removal. But here we are. It's 2 weeks? It's September 20th already. Next week it's media day. Training camp also starts. The preseason, like I just said to you, is for Boston is October 2nd, Sunday afternoon against the Hornets. That's the first game. So the fear of my fear and the fandom fear is, like I said to you, the past 2 pods, they got thinner losing Gallinari. So their plan coming into the season already, like I've said, is like when the offseason began, was like after they acquired Brogdon and stuff, it was like, all right, well, we're going to relieve Al more, especially with how last year just went for him, clearly for his age. As the summer went on, I'm like, all right, well, I know we're high on Luke Kornet, and I know we could play Grant at the 5 sometimes, but your 2 main like Tice is gone in the Brogdon deal. So your 2 bigs in rotation, your main bigs, one is going to be 30, I believe 37 next June. The other is yet to prove his long-term durability skills, like we've talked about. And that's the only thing holding him back from a perennial all-star type career, like we said. And he's only 24. He still has time to figure that out. It's just like we said, his knee had to get cleaned up at some point. Should have been August, should have been July. But here we are. It's the end of September. The news comes out. It's kind of like Gallinari, just unexpected. Didn't see it coming, especially, that's a whole different circumstance that we got different news before that one. But they are continuously getting thinner because now you might have to rethink how much you really wanted to relieve Horford. Not just with having only Kornet and Vonleh if he makes the team, or Grant Williams as a backup 5. But it's the fact that Rob's hurt and now Al's going to be your main 5 to start the year. So you got Thinner losing Gallo. This isn't, it's a lot more cautionary now because you have the faith in Luke Cornett. I just tweeted this before. As the days go on into training camp, it's becoming a thing more and more. And, they're not worried about Al that much and his, fatigue, but it's just like, this is a big Rob Williams year. And this is why I will, give the preview that when we give our awards later, fans, there you go. People who know me, there you go. Rob Williams is my defensive player of the year. So this is supposed to be a big year out of him, and obviously moving forward. So not even just with Boston's front court, how they're less than there, but it's like just for how his importance to the team, like being the 4th member of the core. And yeah, so hopefully he comes back maybe that opening week of mid-October, October 18th, or like sometime in October will be great in general. So it doesn't have to be that much pressure on Horford and Cornette as it is. But, maybe they sign a free agent. Maybe
I got a list of them up just now. I was going to bring them up and see which guy you think would fit the best.
All right, let's hear. I mean, I'm a Cousins guy, even though it's been a rumor for many years and previously, and it's never happened. And they don't seem to have an interest. But we could play this game.
Yeah.
Want to go?
I'm moving okay, right? I'm all good?
Yeah, how am I?
You're fine. I think it's just because I opened the new tab that it slowed down a little bit, but I think we're all right.
Good.
So I got Dwight Howard, Ed Davis, Hassan Whiteside, Luka Garza. I can't believe he's a free agent. Tristan Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, Greg Monroe. And what I mean by Garza being a free agent is the fact that he is in his, second year now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Howard is the biggest name, but I guess Whiteside is probably your best option, money-wise. DeMarcus Cousins is good too.
I think. Wait, you said I'm not lagging, right?
No, you're all right. I'm saying because when I open a new tab because the monitors are fairly new, everything's slow. But now I see everything's moving fine now because everything's loaded up.
Just double checking because.
No, yeah, we're all right.
Where we said it's the weak spot, but.
So I'm trying to think here because you'd want somebody. I'd feel you wouldn't. He's not out for the year. He's not gonna miss. Was he out 4 to 6 weeks?
Yeah, he's not gonna derail my defensive player of the year.
Wait, is he out 4 to 6 weeks from the season start or now?
From now.
And the season starts when? End of October?
October 18th is when we open against Philly, and it opens the season. He's getting the procedure this week, so he should be ready come opening week. Or
I would give him the 6 weeks. But I mean, I would still sign one of these guys.
That's it's not because of this.
Let me look up forwards though. I want to look up power forwards because a power forward nowadays is kind of the same thing as a center.
Before you do, I'll give an answer. So. From a fan perspective, I'll take any of those guys out of any of those guys rather than a second run of Tristan Thompson is the only one I will not do. But from a team perspective, they're not worried about the money. You can get any of those guys for a veteran's minimum, $2 million, or not even just that. I don't know if you saw the owner's quote on what he said to Brad and what he said to the franchise the past few days, but he was like, that's how we've been willing to go into the tax all summer and get Malcolm. Wick Grossbeck is the owner. He was like, I say to Brad, tell us what you want and we can make that happen. So now looks like a whole lot more sense in that quote, knowing it's not just like this happening this afternoon that's making me say like, okay, now go get a 5. That like we kind of
the Gallo thing you can't control.
Yeah, so it's more so the Gallo thing and you're thinning. But I like Cornette as well. But it's like if you're worried about Rob for the as the season progresses and proceeds, it's just like you could take a Dwight Howard or a Cousins or a Whiteside and then never have to play them as well. And you know how much I value veterans, bottom line, at this point. Like I'd rather, of course, a Derek White than a Romeo Langford and a draft pick. Like I'll value the veterans, especially for the team that's trying to get those 2 more wins. And rightfully so, the ownership is trying to spend to the tax. They're that close. So it's like you could get any of those easily in the blink of an eye. And I like every one of those but Tristan Thompson. And now if you want to read off the forwards, we can look at that too.
Yeah, well, here, some of these guys aren't going to be able to play center, like Melo. But I think you might get him anyway because of Gallo, but it depends on the money value there. LaMarcus Aldridge is enticing to me.
And he has previous chemistry with Ime in San Antonio, so I like that. And Portland too, I think.
Who?
Portland as well. I think they have chemistry.
Yeah. Who else? Bielitsa, the guy if you want him to shoot.
I actually always liked him.
Eric Paschall, he's 25.
Yeah, he's young. He's a G leaguer.
Blake Griffin, Paul Millsap, Markieff Morris, Jordan Nwora, Malik Fitz, Gary Clark, Tyler Cook. Those guys, I'll just name up the list. You could probably chop off 80% of these guys. The thing I would say is, though, it might not be worth it to sign one of these guys if he's not going to be out long term. But I do think signing a guy might be smart just because of Horford's age. Is Ty still on your team? No, right?
He's a pacer. He was in the Malcolm trade.
Okay. Lost.
I wouldn't be worried if he was again, Tice could go for how long this has been a thing and not to hold that thought. But you saw he barely played he played once in the whole finals and barely played the Miami series. And times when Rob looked bad, I thought he should play. And this isn't, a boast of Tice. But if he was still on the roster, I would not be worried because he's serviceable.
He's a placeholder. I'm looking now.
He's serviceable for a second unit of any contender.
Yeah, your centers are Bruno Caboclo. No, his birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday.
He's a kid, yeah. They like him.
Al Horford, Robert Williams. And that's it.
Yes, sir.
Can Grant play the 5? He's 6'6". He can't play the 5. Gallo could. No, you have Noah Vonleh too.
That's what I'm saying. So to answer your question, Grant actually gained weight Kemba's last year going into that second year after the bubble. And he didn't play much in that when they lost to the Heat in the bubble. I thought when they didn't have an answer for Bam and Tice got 8 that if Rob wasn't going to play, he should. So he was still a rookie. He was still small. He gave a bit of a spark and did not back down. That's the Celtic coffee talk going right there. Did not back down and showed, that defensive intelligence, toughness, the Draymond play that he has. But then going into year 2, he gained weight and then kind of sucked. And then as you heard going into last season, I was like, before he showed out at opening night at Madison Square Garden and before he showed his improvement, I was like, I don't care if he doesn't make his way back. I'll have the short leash on Grant. I apologize to my Celtic friends and family. I love him, one of the most throughout all the team. He's awesome, obviously, especially off the court. And he proved me wrong as well as the rest of them. But, yeah, he said media day last year, he was like, so I was bad. Basically, in simpler terms, so I gained weight to play the 5, and, that's why my whole problem was that was my whole thing last year. Now, I doubt he gained that weight back, but they're probably telling him, you got to play the 5 again some more. Because it's kind of like I don't want to say it's like Day'Ron Sharp playing the 5 for the Nets because he doesn't have much experience at all. I'm only saying that because he's small, like 6'6" or 6'7" as well. But then again, like I call him a baby Draymond. So I think that helps my point of Grant's capabilities at the 5. And
You would be like one of those Rockets teams that went like with PJ at the 5. I mean, the difference is Grant, it doesn't have that like the defensive prowess of PJ Tucker or the sneaker game, but I don't care about that. But it's just like if he's not gonna miss that many times, you can live with Noah Vonleh as your backup center for a week or two, especially because especially you don't play a lot of back to backs. You don't like 2 weeks is probably like 5 games, roughly 5 or 6.
yeah, 5 plus. But
Is that going to make that much of a difference? And and Tatum and Brown are still there, Horford's still there. I would still not change anything with Al Horford if he's going to miss a week or two, Robert Williams, because my fear is it's a knee. He played through it. I don't get why he didn't get it right away.
yeah, and like my opening point was when we started this was like, at some point it had to be cleaned up. But yeah, it would have been nice if it was the past 2 months. But so it's like with Grant, it's an emergency 5. Celtic fans and many NBA fans would rather him play the 5 at this point than Tice, even though that's something Tice provides is like coverage on the perimeter in multiple positions. But it's like Vonleh isn't guaranteed. He's only a camp deal right now. So is Justin Jackson and Denzel Valentine, who are both wings.
Yeah, and also the guys we're naming right now aren't household names, and they're not going to jump off the paper, but they're placeholders. But before your next thought, I have the official tweet from Woj. Robert Williams' procedure will keep him minimally out of the Celtics training camp and preseason, but the cleanup on his left knee is expected to have him back in the lineup early in the regular season. So what they might do is 4 to 6 weeks might be 4 weeks recovery, 2 weeks build up. Because it's also so close to the year now where it's not a major surgery where he's been able to work out. So this might just be a cleanup. Celtics blog, maybe this procedure will clear things up and he'll actually be ready for someone near start of the season. Bad news, I'm terrified.
Yeah, like that. So Vonleh doesn't have a guaranteed deal unless he makes the team. But that also brings to the point, like I said about Luke Cornett, if you got the faith in him and he's serviceable, kind of like Tice was with the shot. First of all, he's got height, near 7-footer, shot blocking ability. They leave him alone on the perimeter so he can nail occasional threes. He's played on the Milwaukee Bucks since his first Celtic stint before we got him back at the second half of last year. But he's serviceable and you can run with him too. But I guess I never said this when you brought up Melo. Maybe I did on the pod last week. We know me. But I guess to answer your point with that, so if you were to tell me with Gallo, and even if Gallo was only out till November-ish or something like that, that they should sign Melo with him, I would say no, because he's the same player. Defenseless, maybe a little less decreased volume in the shooting.
I think he's probably better than Gallo.
He's better, and a better fit.
He's tougher. He can play underneath.
I'd say
Gallo can't.
This is my thing, right? So they're both neck and neck. They're both the same player. Gallo has more height.
Melo's got everything else.
They're both completely defenseless. They both can catch fire, and they're both sharpshooters. But I think when it comes to percentage and volume-wise, even in the paint or not only from the outside, but in the restricted area around the basket anywhere, Gallo probably shoots a better percentage.
I'll look up now. Just I'm not going into advanced, but from skating over glossing over the easy stats, he's shot 43.5%, 38 from 3, 90 from the line.
I meant recently too, like basing off last year. I know Gallo didn't play a whole lot for Atlanta, same with Melo at times, but like there was times where Melo didn't shoot well, I thought, and Gallo was more efficient. Go on.
Yeah. And then last year, I don't know why he's not coming up on my phone, but on here he shot 38% from three, 44 from the field, and from the line, 83 from the line. So very similar.
That was the big help in adding him and Brogdon was they both shoot high 30s from three. And I said this to you as well. I remember in the summer, Gallo on StatMuse, I saw he put up in like the teens in scoring his past like 4 seasons. So you know he's the defensive liability. You know Melo is, but point being is I didn't want them both because one of them would have to sit. You can't play them both when they do the same thing. I like that Gallo is bigger and more height. Like, again, you even lost, you're thinning even more losing him. But now with Gallo out for the year, when that came out, and, you know, everyone, Celtic Twitter and everyone's like, sign Melo, now's the time. I was in agreement because he's the perfect replacement for him because Gallo might be a little bit better now, like efficiency-wise, percentage-wise. But it's like Melo can replace him perfectly just because, again, like as well as Gallo doesn't have to play every game, doesn't have to play a significant amount of minutes. But the biggest thing is he lays a foundation. Like, yeah, Gallo also is an OG and a good veteran to have. I've said to you how he'd be a good piece to the puzzle if they were to win it this year. And, like, he's an OG that just scores and you know what you're getting out of him. Like, he'll come in and give you a quick 8 to 10. But with Carmelo, it's also beautiful because any hidden – I think I said this to you last week – any hidden thing that the Jays didn't show yet, Melo unlocks. Like whether it's, you know, how great he is even since the Knick days with the post up, with the back to the basket. He could have helped with that. And then Jason grew up loving him. And he's one of Jason's idols. And obviously the rest of the organization loves him. And the rest of the NBA loves him. So, like, he's a perfect veteran for that squad. But, like, I also don't blame them when they're like, oh, like, we don't see him as a priority. We'll take Sam Hauser along with Cornette, and we'll, you know, we think Hauser can be a floor spacer and fill in Gallo's shoes fine. And we're optimistic Gallo can come back in May, maybe. But also, too, like I saw my one friend that I write with was like, who writes for Celtic Blog, was like, you know, I think people might be overstating Gallo's value now that he's gone. Which is also true, but again,
yeah, like guys get hurt, and he's valuable in a sense, but you can find another one of him. You can piece together if you have good coaching, a good team. You can piece together his role. If you lost Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum or Marcus Smart or a starter, then it's a different issue, obviously. But yeah, I think it's just for the whole Rob Williams thing. It's just more of like a weird timeline, like kind of like Mike Thomas for the Saints. That was like a weird surgery situation, but so we are now 20 minutes into the episode, and forgot to tell you guys because we got right into it, was follow us on Instagram, TikTok, you know, follow us everywhere, Sports Bible Pod, Twitter, YouTube, Sports Bible. We actually got a comment. If you commented on our last video, we can't do timestamps yet, like chapters, because we don't have enough subscribers. So we don't have that many subscribers, but we appreciate who does follow this podcast. We actually got a decent amount of views based on our normal average. And so if that's my reasoning, I asked you guys ask the person what team it was. The person asked you I asked the person what team that they were referring to when he wanted a timeline for it. But if you want to just get back to me, but as soon as we get to that subscriber mark, which hopefully is soon, but, you know, slow grind.
I apologize. First of all, thankfully we got it out of the way, but I apologize.
No, you're good. We got right into it because just gotta go with the flow.
Now we're done with the Celtics, and yeah, good point. I mean, Melo, good replacement for
No,
that.
it's a story. I think he's a top 5 to 7 center. I mean,
They
hell,
8 NBA.com going into the year. I think that's appropriate.
well, who was one? Just Jokic is probably one. Jokic, Embiid, top 2. Bam was probably up there.
Gobert.
Gobert. They probably had Anthony Davis in there.
Yeah,
Here.
I mean, maybe they look at him as a 4, but Cat, of course.
Well,
Vucevic is up there.
okay, I'll give you that. But the problem with Cat is that he's a 5. He's going to play the 4 now. But he probably fits more of the 4 anyway because he shoots.
And he's got not only the nicest stroke you'll see out of a big man, but like percentage-wise. Talk about percentages.
Yeah.
But like with Boston, really not much to worry about. It's me being a fan, of course. And
I was going to say, who else? What we name 5 guys?
yeah, and just closing on the Celtics again, but I just said like again, being the crazy fan that I am, I don't like want to get that far to the season and be like if they just had that one wing. So that's why I don't shut up about Gallo. That's my point. Melo, good replacement, but yeah, I'll take the kids. In the meantime, I bet Rob will be back towards November, so we're good. Yeah, where are we at 6? So
Was Capella there?
we didn't say him, but I'm gonna find the tweet.
Yeah. I don't know who that could be. I don't think. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan, but it's probably not Mitchell Robinson. Miles Turner, no. Sabonis, or is he a 4?
Who?
Sabonis.
The 3 of them really could be up there.
Jonas Valanciunas, Travis Kelce's doppelganger. I'm just trying to go to the league right now. Isaiah Stewart. He's crazy. Who else? Christian Wood, is he gonna play the 5? Or is he gonna play the 4? They're probably gonna play him at the 4, and
I think the 5. I think Finney Smith is gonna start at the 4.
they just signed Kleber.
Well, Wood's more of a 5 than Kleber.
I was gonna say, wait, they're gonna put Dorian at the 4. They're probably gonna start Bullock then, because then
at 3, right?
Oh wait, I forgot about Spencer Dinwiddie.
Yeah, but we're not positive. Like, yeah, he should start and play the Brunson.
Because Hardaway's back too.
Yeah, he should start and play the Brunson role, but we don't know if they're definitely gonna start him over Tim.
I would honestly keep him on the bench. Roll it Hardaway.
I would put him over Tim and start Bullock, but you could even put Tim at the 3 if you wanted.
But if you have Tim in the lineup, Hardaway, then you need Bullock in the same lineup because Tim Hardaway can't guard a chair. Dinwiddie's decent at defense, but he's a little I don't want to say short, but like he's not like long armed, I guess. I don't have anything to back that up.
He's an average defender.
Like he'd be small for a forward, but that's why he's guard.
And
it's great when you play with Luka, all guards look small because he's 6'7".
And like people around him are positionless. Like what you're gonna find out tonight, speaking of the Dynasty League, is they put like so many positions and multiple on players, and some of them you'll be like, what? Like Aaron Nesmith was a point guard going into.
And Simmons probably has like center.
He only has 1 right now, and it's point guard. That's very weird. But what do you mean Aaron Nesmith, a point guard? And they have, I guess I could see it again, positionless with Luka, but they have Dinwiddie as a small forward on my team.
Yeah, that's weird. I guess I'm trying to go back to, speaking of positions, go back to centers.
I'm still looking for the tweet. Yeah.
Capella, and then I'm thinking of like Mo Bamba. I'm just trying to go to the team. Charlotte doesn't have one. Washington doesn't have one.
It's really got to be around here because
Steven Adams. Is Zion a center?
No.
Yeah. Let me go to the teams now.
Valanciunas is.
Who's the center for the Raptors? Is it?
No one.
They just have 5, 6, 7 guys.
Boucher.
Yeah, but he's probably the worst out of everyone. Jared Allen, he might be there.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna have to go to the search bar for this. I tried scrolling down.
I don't
NBA
know.
Central, couldn't
Now I'm
find it.
invested in this. You gotta play the Jeopardy music. We said Davis. We said Gobert. Clippers have. Is it still the guy who looks like Zach Ertz? The hell's his name? What's his
Zubac.
name? Zubac. Yeah, there you go. He looks like Zach Ertz. Golden State. It's kind of like
I
a
guess-
revolving door.
I'm really
James Wiseman's not going to be there because he hasn't played. And then Marvin Bagley sucks. Need Nurkic. Yeah, so I mean, it's probably who did I say before?
Valanciunas.
No, I said someone like it like came to my mind.
This could take some time. I'm scrolling down my tweets
I
to
just-
find it. That's how bad I want to find this.
I just said a Jared Allen. That's who I think it might be.
Yeah, he's up there for sure. I did see while I just searched it and while I was looking for the NBA Central one, I did just see that an NBA writer that I followed, did a list that looked pretty appropriate to me. So I'll fall back on that if I can't find this. But
Okay, so we had Vucevic. We said Jared Allen. We said Jokic, Embiid, Bam, Davis, Gobert, Towns. So yeah, 8 or 9. But regardless, that kind of makes sense for Robert Williams.
yeah, so I couldn't find the NBA Central one. I just was saying to Rich before the break that one of the writers I follow, I saw tweeted one that I thought was appropriate, September 6th. So this one's in order. Jokic, Embiid, Gobert, Bam. Now, I know that the NBA Central one didn't have Rob Williams ranked 5th. So my bias self won't even say that. I'm pretty sure they had him at 8, like I said before.
All right.
So this dude, Kyle Grandin, we haven't really communicated much, but we follow each other. I'm reading your list right now, Kyle, and I appreciate you having Rob Williams at 5th, but that's a little high.
Who do you have him over?
Sabonis at 6, Jared Allen 7, DeAndre Ayton 8, Valanciunas,
I forgot about Aiden.
JV, Valanciunas 9, Nurkic 10. Now, honorable mentions. I don't know why Alfred Şengün is an honorable mention
Who
from
is
Kyle.
that?
Remember the guy, the Rocket Center that's going into year 2. He was a rookie last year.
Okay.
He's starting now without Wood. So Capella, Miles Turner, Vucevic, Kristaps Porzingis, and I think WCJ is Wendell Carter Jr.
Where does he have Mitchell Robinson?
I guess Mitchell does not make the cut. So, all right, this is what I guess we'll finish the topic. Like, you want to give your list out of these names? I'll do, like, this is mine.
You know, put
So
a rookie over Mitchell Robinson who just got $100 million. Was it $100 million? I think it was. I think it was 20 a year. So
yeah, I think it was 100. I'm pretty sure.
Mitchell Robinson contract. Just quickly I didn't think we would be on this.
Nurkic is in
4 for
10.
60. 4 for 60. Okay, that makes more sense.
I don't
Still
even
though.
think Yusuf Nurkic is not top 10 for me.
No, no.
Definitely not. Like, I would have had.
Vucevic is better. The Celtics just waived Bruno Caboclo. I don't know if it's Caboclo.
I think it's Caboclo. I could be wrong myself. That's a little bit of a shock. Maybe something's coming.
They might be signing somebody or like
Yeah.
too much money. Or I mean, it's you probably was never going to see the floor.
Yeah, only a shock because like they liked him for like prospect wise for summer league, and like knowing he could have been an emergency guy for the back end 13th man, and like maybe they could have saw something out of him in years
Yeah.
in advance.
But you
like,
gotta when you're a win now team, it doesn't matter.
yeah, really only a shock because you need a body or any sort of body. So like
Yeah.
maybe a signing's coming.
Yeah. But so we're gonna move on now. You said the Jets with Zach Wilson before, and I wanted to jump over out the window. I'm on the first floor, but I want to jump out the window and just run because
I'll go Rob top
what?
7. Rob Williams is top 7-8 center in my opinion.
For sure. Yeah, but the Jets. Damn. I would be. I don't hate the Jets. I do think they have talent. But you can't lose like that. 30-17 with 90 seconds left. I was going back and forth because I follow the Panthers now because I'm a big Baker guy, even though he's off to a tough start. I'm still a Browns fan, and then Red Zone was on, so it was my thumb hurt from flipping back and forth from all the games. So I told my brother, like, all right, game's over, turn it off, it's fine, we're good. Then I see they score to the Jets. I'm like, all right, onside kick, and then we don't get the onside kick, and then they score. Brissett gets picked, but there was 10 seconds left. He wasn't going to do much anyway. I can't blame him. But it's a loss you can't have, especially against a team like the Jets, who, while have talent, are young and probably not going to win more than 6 games. The fact that the fan base now all of a sudden is blaming Nick Chubb for scoring. If he scored and it was a 1-point game and he made it an 8-point game, I would understand because they can still tie the game getting the ball back. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? If it was a 1-point game, that would be the only scenario. But you go up 2 scores in 90 seconds and the Jets have no timeouts under the 2-minute warning. You have to shut that out.
And that was the Myles Garrett, that's his name, right? The guy on the Jets.
You mean Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
The receiver? Myles Garrett's on the Browns.
I know, I was thinking, like, we're cutting that out. Cut that out. I thought I knew that Myles. So that was, like the Garrett Wilson touchdown too. Like he was all alone, and there was no.
I mean, whatsoever. The biggest play, obviously the onside kick. The biggest play was the Corey Davis touchdown. You can't have a miscommunication when you no matter what in that situation. The last thing you have to worry about is an under route or something underneath. If a guy's going deep, I'd rather you miscommunicate low than high.
Yeah.
Because you can't
especially with the performance Nick Chubb was having too.
Oh my God. He apologized today for scoring. Are we serious? And then I saw something, and I said this too, because now everyone wants the coach fired. Everyone wants the defensive coordinator fired. Everyone wants this guy. Myles Garrett now sucks, apparently. Amari Cooper's overrated. I've seen it all. Denzel Ward sucks. It's amazing because we all know if number 6 throws that pick with 12 seconds left, they're blaming him. We all know. I am not saying Baker's playing pretty bad right now. I'm not gonna lie. He had a decent first week and he played bad in the second week.
Especially the amount of opportunities they had to win at MetLife.
Yeah, well, it was weird. He had pretty good protection, but anytime he got pressured, it was literally like the worst. Like it was like 3rd and 1 on like the 5. So it was a goal line situation. But regardless, what I'm about to say is nothing to do with how he's playing right now. He's not playing well. It's 2 weeks though. The Panthers aren't very good. We knew that going in. But we do know Myles Garrett's not getting blamed for this. Denzel Ward's not getting blamed for this last year. And it goes to show you that he was a scapegoat in some senses, and his blame covered everything up. Like, Denzel Ward's a stud. So is Myles Garrett. They should not be getting blamed for this. Like, I blame the defensive coordinator. That's on me. That's what I believe because he plays. I made this comment yesterday. He plays a bend, don't break defense with a pretzel stick. You can't bend a pretzel stick and expect it not to break. You can't expect in this modern day football to just rely on turnovers, especially when Jadeveon Clowney, your second best defensive end or your second best pass rusher, goes down. Grant Delpit's inexperienced. He's more of a linebacker than a safety, if anything. So is Ronnie Harrison. Denzel Ward, your best corner. Greg Newsom's good too. You're short at corner. You have Martin Emerson, a rookie corner, who got cooked by the Jets' number 1 in Garrett Wilson. But on the goal line, that's when you man up. Goal line is usually man coverage because you have to stack the front in case of a run. Yeah. And you have him on Garrett Wilson. Like what that just doesn't make any. It's just not schematically right. You're not putting guys in the right spot to win. All that being said, we're 1-1. We're tied for first because the Ravens blew a bigger lead. Basically, it was less embarrassing because like you had more time, but Tua threw 6 touchdowns against them, and people still want to give him hate. I don't want to hear it.
They're home Thursday, right?
Yes, the Steelers lost to the Patriots, which.
Yes.
I didn't watch a second of that game. And the Bengals just lost to Cooper Rush. Like, the AFC North, it's weird because I trust the Ravens to be good. I don't trust their defense. The best team on paper, when not suspended, is the Cleveland Browns because that defense does not do that every week, and I don't expect that to keep happening. It's an anomaly week. It's something that usually you don't see it happen often. And I'm just hoping I saw Myles Garrett on the injury report. I'm hoping he can play. But them and the Ravens are like probably top 2. The Bengals, they're like, I think when fully think, I think Ravens, Bengals, and Browns are pretty close in talent. And then the Steelers, because of their quarterback situation, are a little lower.
Yes.
But they're the Steelers, so they'll still find a way to win 8, 9, 10 games. But my point of this whole thing is, I know I said that twice now. You got to flush it. I've seen like, oh, this one's taking the blame. This one's taking the blame. And Amari Cooper's like, who cares now? It's Tuesday now. That game happened 2 days ago. If they got blown out, it would have been the same. You'd still be 1-1. Yeah, you could be 2-0. Okay, you probably should have lost to the Panthers too. So, you're 1-1. K-Drug kicked a 60-yard field goal, and you won because of that. So, you know what? We're 1-1. It is what it is. Move on and beat the brakes off the Steelers because Mitch Trubisky should not beat you. I know we have Brissett, but Najee Harris is not Nick Chubb. Najee Harris, I don't even know if he's Kareem Hunt. And I'm dead serious when I say that.
Yeah.
So, like, TJ Watt's out. I don't know if Myles Garrett's playing. I just said that. But, yeah, so, like, just move on. It's embarrassing. We get it, but move on. Like, it's over. Like, let's not keep harping on this.
So, like, since he did lose to Cooper Rush, but like I guess like if there's to credit Cowboys for anything, it's definitely
Micah Parsons is a freak of nature.
And of course, and their defense has been incredible thus far. Like what they.
I'm not blaming Burrow. I'm not blaming it. Their offensive line is struggling.
Not even just that, and like Cooper Rush doesn't deserve the gold medal yet.
He's 2-0.
And as a starter, it's like Dallas's defense has been superb thus far. But it's like to me, if Philly, like I said this to you before we were recording, and like I was laughing at, and I tweeted this, and people saw it, how bad Kirk was last night. And like I've heard, I saw the record. I've heard all this talk about him on Monday Night Football and his primetime record, but man.
There are some games and he looks terrible, but it's weird. Like I don't know why Monday Night Football. I don't get it. The Vikings don't play a lot on Sunday night, but I don't get why Monday Night Football specifically. Now, also, like what you just said, the Eagles might be the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, and like again, with it helped them that of course, like not only they could go wherever they want with Minnesota's defense, but it also helped them that every ball Kirk was throwing was a near pick, a green jersey around it, or just a duck. And they were just all so bad every ball he was throwing. And and I know a lot of NFL experts are like, Minnesota's the sleeper. Kirk can win MVP. I didn't see any of that last night. I know
they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
They will be. I think they're good. Like especially with Jefferson and Smith, like we said, and their abilities. But it's like
and Thielen, KJ Osborne, Dalvin Cook, Alex Madison.
It's just like my thing is like, and of course they had a big win Sunday against Rodgers and the Packers, or week 1. But it's like, I just think that there's a good amount of teams that are better, I guess. But it's like, I mean, you put it perfectly. Ravens, Browns, and who's the other team you said? All kind of right to Steelers?
Cincy. When the Browns have Watson.
Yeah, and obviously the Bengals, like, they're looking at Burrow right now. Like you said, no one's worried about him, but they're like, is the elephant in the room the changes we made to our offensive line, and is this going to go as we planned? They
invested a lot of money in their offensive line.
Yeah, and they made a lot of changes, but it's like they got the Jets next week at MetLife. So big bounce back for Joe and Cincy. And obviously, like, again,
they play the Jets this week.
Dallas's defense was definitely elite against them. Yeah, Jets, like I just said, and like they should be fine, is my point. I think Miami looks amazing too, and they're a sleeper. If Tua can continue to play like that, and their offense just looks filthy. Like the fact that really Lamar had the entire sports world on watch, and everyone
he was perfect in the first half.
Yeah, pay that man all this, and he still is amazing.
He had a perfect passer rating in the first half.
And it's just, I'm a big fan of the guy myself now, but it's like it was amazing that they didn't even win the game.
I hate Lamar Jackson.
And Mike McDaniel continues to look more and more of a genius as these weeks go on. And
I can't stand Lamar Jackson. Mainly because he crushes my team. But
yeah.
I just don't like with Lamar. I do think he gets unnecessary hate. I do think, like, he can never be right almost. Like, when he doesn't run and he throws well, it's like, oh, why didn't he run? And when he just runs and doesn't throw, it's like, oh, why didn't he throw? Like, if the dude wins, you can give him that. He does win. But it's just like, I don't think he's better than, like, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. Like, I don't think he's a top 4 quarterback. Like, better than Kyler, probably. He's better than Kyler. He's better than those guys. But I think he's better than Stafford.
Yes, just below the best of, like, the top 5 or 4.
At his best, he's probably better than Joe Burrow. But that's recency bias. Joe Burrow's just in the Super Bowl. And I just don't like Lamar Jackson because he beats my team. That's the only reason why I don't like Lamar Jackson. But so what's up?
I was just going to keep yapping about the slate. Like, we'll see if the Giants can go 3-0. They've had the 2.
Their defenses look good.
It has. And it's just, we'll see if Daniel can help their offense beat the rival, because both teams are going to be hungry. Dallas. And it's like, usually the Giants.
Both the same in a way, like defensively. They're defensive-minded teams.
Yeah, and like the Giants tend to play them well the first matchup of the year. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. It's a big Monday night game next week. We'll see how Cleveland bounces back Thursday. We'll see if Miami can keep this up.
Jacksonville the Colts look awful.
Tyler.
I know Tyler wanted Baker over Matt Ryan, which right now neither of them look good. But Baker's younger, so he probably has a better arm. But the Colts look bad. Frank Reich might be on the hot seat. The Jags looked good. Like Trevor Lawrence, like he's starting. Like Doug Peterson is brewing something up there. They were close in the first game. They won the second game. This week they play the Chargers. This is a tough game.
Yeah.
I'm going through the slate too right now. Rams, Atlanta. Who cares? Trey Lance. That I don't like with Trey Lance, and I get it. It's a sports world. I don't like how everyone's reaction is, oh, they're better with Jimmy G. Like, they're better with Jimmy G. Like, whatever. The dude just shattered his ankle. Like, can we give the guy a break? I get it. Like, talk about it next week. Like,
instead of everyone being like, "Oh, what did you think was gonna happen?" Like he put all this faith. Like, dude, he's a
I hate
kid.
that. Denver, Houston, Denver's. I don't trust them. Arizona,
And
that was a huge win by Arizona. Kyler, that's why you pay Kyler. That game is why you pay Kyler Murray. Titans,
no,
no comment on that one
I
because
think
Buffalo.
if if Hurts, we got some Malik Willis action though. But if
Did he
Hurts,
even do anything?
no,
He won for 4, so yeah, he didn't really get much play.
if Hurts can continue to play like that though, like we said, the Vikings
Mm-hmm.
are a big klutz of I said Kirk last night. But if Jalen Hurts, if AJ Brown and the rest of the crew can continue to play like that, they will win the NFC East for these.
Yeah, who they play next week. Philly. They play Washington next week, so that would be. They should beat Washington. Detroit beat Washington, but also Washington, like those like weird bad teams are kind of like competitive right now.
Bad first half too. Like if they played better in the first half, they maybe could have won.
Yeah, but
it's fun.
Goff at 4 tuds. Goff at 4 touchdowns.
Before you said that, I was like, who do the Commanders play? And for my rooting reasons, and I'm like, oh, it is Philly. I did see that.
Yeah. Yeah, Chicago, Green Bay I expected that. Minnesota, Philly, we talked about. Tennessee, Buffalo. Buffalo is, I think, the best team. They bludgeoned the Rams and the Titans, who were the 1 seed last year. I know they lost AJ Brown, but still, 41-7. That's pretty. And we talked about the Jets. We talked about Kansas City beat the Chargers on Thursday. That was a couple of days ago now, almost a week now. Tampa Bay. I still don't trust Tampa Bay. I don't. What's saving them is that Carolina's 0-2. The Saints have Jameis, and the Falcons suck. That's what's saving them right now because, like, Tom Brady, like through 2 games, 59% completion percentage, not good. 402 yards in 2 games, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Like you can't win ugly every game. You can't when you have Tom Brady. Like. And this week they play the Packers. This is a huge game for both teams.
Yes, I agree with that. I did see that as well. And it hasn't been pretty, but like with these weapons, as we know, like the Bengals, for example, when we get to December, the Bengals will be a lot better. Same with Tampa.
You hope.
Yeah.
You hope it's not too late, meaning you hope.
Fournette, did you see his tweet about the touchdowns and the fantasy?
Yeah, I'm hoping for them. No, it's all right. I lost this week mainly because I played Stephon Diggs. I was up big, and then he had Aaron Jones and Stephon Diggs combined for 69 30 points. I'm on Ross St. Brown and Christian Kirk, but then like I have Devontae Adams. He didn't do anything really. Barkley did nothing. Fournette did nothing. Kyle Pitts has sucked. The Cleveland defense screwed me. But Jalen Hurts gave me 33 or 36. So that was a rough one to swallow. What?
Elephant in the room. Are we surprised about Barkley, or did we think he was going to do that for a couple consecutive weeks?
He didn't play bad. I mean, fantasy-wise, he wasn't really he was 21 rushes for 72 yards and 3 catches for 16 yards. But the Panthers through 2 weeks have the best run defense in the league. So the Panthers' problem right now is, if you want to talk a little bit Panthers football, because they're so good. Week 1, they got off to a slow start, but they came back and it was a tough loss, whatever. You can live with that kind of loss. You can't lead off the next game with a fumble on the first play, and in the first drive, fumble again. Because that flips your field position. It kills your drive twice. And Shi Smith had 3 drops, so one of them was probably a touchdown too. So I saw a stat that I think Baker's expected completion percentage was 70%, and it was under 50 for the game. I'm not making he didn't play well. I watched a lot of the game. He didn't play well, but you can't drop passes. You can't beat yourself. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Completion percentage, expected completion percentage. I know week 1 it was 70%, but I think I saw somewhere week 2 it was 70%.
Speaking of the Chargers and Chiefs game, we are doing a dynasty basketball draft tonight, me and Rich, for those close to me. This,
Uh,
this is Christmas Eve. These few hours, I am ready. I am ready to jump through the roof. Basketball's here. Of course, any fantasy basketball draft, I am full thing of popcorn, fully ready and invested, and just, again, a kid on Christmas morning. We will be with an NFL star in this draft. Ja'Sir Taylor graduated from Brick High School, where I'm from. Yeah, he's in our draft.
yeah, I can't find expected completion percentage, but
I know he doesn't listen to our pod, but Ja'Sir Taylor of the Los Angeles Chargers. We're excited for tonight.
yeah.
This is your buddy Rob saying this. It's a pleasure to have you in our draft.
So
I know he knows how much of a ball nerd I am, and he knows I'm excited. So
you want to get into our predictions now? For last week we did standings. This week we got player predictions.
yeah, so like
You want to start with MVP?
Yeah, you could go first. My apology for the 20-minute beginning Celtic rant. I guess it couldn't have been worse than me
No.
going through the
I mean,
standings
this is.
first.
I think there's the last thing we're covering for the day. We kind of spat around today a little bit. As we get closer to the NBA, we'll have more stories. LeBron's bald.
You see, I'm not giving that look because I'm bald. I'm giving that look because why is that a headline on
I
Bleacher
don't know.
Report? He's always been bald. Like
He just shaved it all off this time.
Like what, he took a selfie and smiled and put it on his story of him with
Yeah.
the freaking thing around him.
Also, keep an eye on the CBA. They might be changing. They probably will change it back to high school. You can come out, which is convenient because I'm pretty sure Bronny James comes out in the next couple years. So, look convenient. Anyway. So you want me to start with my MVP?
Yes.
Giannis. I went bold here. Giannis. I have Milwaukee as my 1 seed in the East, and I think he's just one of those guys that's always going to be involved in it. And because of the way the Celtics played last year and the whole Celtics hype, the Bucks are kind of going under the radar, which kind of takes off his fatigue for winning MVP. He won't be favored because of the fatigue, but I do think there is something to him not winning last year, the Celtics going to the finals, the Sixers having Harden, the Nets saga, the Cavs getting Donovan Mitchell. I do think it does something for going under the radar and kind of catching people by surprise. But I doubt it will happen just because it's so hard to pick the MVP. But there's no reason why it can't.
It's a good pick, yeah.
Yeah,
And
who's
I
your
like
guy?
to. I'm going to ask you to go through your whole thing first before I give mine. But
Depoy. What's up?
no, just to answer your MVP pick, I like it a lot. Why? Yeah, I mean, like it's unlikely because how many times he's done it. Like, he's the best player in the world, and great reasoning. He's going to be hungry. He got tired in that game 7 without Middleton.
Yeah.
He will be the best player in the league again, like we've been saying, and will continue to rise to that category, just like him and Doncic, and he'll probably continue to pass Durant, even though you can't discredit him in that mix as well. But like, if this Rob Williams thing was more serious and if he was out longer, then I would say I was already thinking this at work before, and I was going to say to you, maybe now I like the Bucks as the 1 seed a little more, but since it's only October-ish and since it shouldn't be that an absence, I'm not going to say that, but it's definitely more favorable of them being a 1 seed over my Celtics now. But I like the reason. Like a lot of the Celtics made the finals, the Heat made it further. Miami and Milwaukee have always kind of had something. The Heat made it further. The Sixers had arguably the best offseason. Like I told you, the Cavs got Donovan. The Nets are running it back, and now they have Simmons, and now they're healthy, and all eyes are on them. But yeah, I like the pick.
Yep. Depoy. There's like 4 guys that are always in the running. I went with Bam. Bam Adebayo, that is. It's just like I'm not gonna pick Gobert. I'm not gonna pick Draymond Green. He's getting older. Kawhi Leonard's coming off an ACL. Sorry, I didn't pick Marcus Smart. I just feel like Bam, he's just the most consistent defender right now. Like he's not the biggest guy, but he is pretty athletic and he can kind of guard any position. The problem with him is his offense disappears sometimes.
Like we saw against the Celtics.
But that has nothing to do with his defense, so that's why I picked him for Depoy.
Yeah, and people said that all Boston series. They're like, he could be more aggressive, like he disappears on offense, and that would have helped the Heat a lot more.
Who did he guard in that series? Did he guard Tatum? Oh, they had Butler on Tatum.
Yeah, he was Rob's bitch. Sorry for the language.
Fine.
No, I like the pick a lot. He was disrespected or felt disrespected that he wasn't one of the top finalists of last season. He could have won it last season. I talked about how Tice does that before. The 2 most mobile bigs when it comes to doing that, like guarding both the perimeter, smalls, and the inside, are Bam and Robert Williams, I would say. So I like that choice a lot. He's probably hungry. We saw him rip the jersey after the Celtics made the finals in the Heat tunnel, so he's probably really hungry himself. And he's always had like kind of, I don't want to say a rivalry, but he's always just been, Celtic fans, and that matchup, Celtics don't really like, or of course Tatum and them love him. They're boys, but I'm saying like Celtic fans don't really like him since the Tatum block and the bubble and stuff. But no, I like the pick. He's for sure going to be a top finalist if he doesn't win it.
Okay. My most improved, I have Anthony Simons. I think it makes way too much sense for it to happen. He went under the radar last year, averaging 17 a game without Dame. He is kind of like McCollum's replacement in a way because he's going to probably start at the 2. You're going to have him, Dame, obviously, and Jeremy Grant, Nurkic, and I guess whoever the 3 is. Josh Hart on that team?
Yes.
So he'd probably play the 3.
Well, yeah, when we talked about Portland last week, we actually didn't bring up Hart. I realized that, but I think you could put Hart as the 6th man and put Grant.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I think Simons has the biggest upside out of anyone I was thinking of. Most improved is also tough because it's usually a guy that comes out of nowhere. Last year I picked Gary Trent. I like that pick a lot, but who won it last year? Was it John Morant?
Yes, it was. I was going to say Poole, but I think I picked Poole because I didn't think Ja was going to win.
It was him, Desmond Bane, and Poole. I think were the top 3.
I think you're correct.
So I'm gonna go Simons. My coach of the year. What's up?
I like that pick a lot.
My coach of the year. I picked the Nuggets to be my 1 seed, so I picked Mike Malone. The coach of the year is tough because it's usually a team that comes out of nowhere, and I have no surprises this year. I could see like if for some reason Detroit makes the playoffs, Dwayne Casey wins it.
They're not though.
They're not going to the playoffs. But my 6th man of the year, I have Bones Highland, so I'm sticking with the Nuggets. I think in order for them to be the 1 seed, he's going to have to play really well because they need bench scoring, and I think he's that guy. I was originally going to go with Emmanuel quickly, but then I remember Tom Thibodeau doesn't play not young guys, doesn't play all of his players all the time, so usually his starters go 45 minutes a game. Bowl predictions. Steve Nash will be fired by Christmas.
Love that.
And this one might get you. I didn't say who. I just said 3. The Knicks will have 3 20 points per game scorers next year. I didn't say Brunson.
Dynasty leagues, that's my point guard, Jalen Brunson.
I think any combination of Quickly, Randall, Barrett, and Brunson, any combination of that is going to be 320 points per game. Fournier is not going to get it. Rose isn't going to get it.
I don't
Mr. Robinson, no shot.
Quickly could be a 6-man of the year candidate. I could see that.
I could see him averaging, what's up?
I don't know about 20 points per game, but I could see close to it.
But I could see him if he plays 30 minutes a night, I could see him getting that because, like I said, it's 3 of the 4. Because I do think RJ, if everything goes right, should average at least 21, 22 a game. Brunson probably close to that too. And then Randall, it depends on his volume. If he's not getting the ball as much, then he's not going to average 20. But it's going to come down to efficiency with them. But it's a bold prediction.
So, no, yeah, I mean, my thing there is like I feel like he's lower. He's only going to see improvement, him and Toppin, because we saw one, we know their potential, and we saw how they ended last year. But like I feel like with Rose back and now Brunson, he'll be lower on the depth chart, but they're going to play him more at the 2, like with Rose. So like I don't know. I don't know if there's 30 minutes to give to him, but the's 25.
There's 30. I would rather him get 35 than Fournier. I think he's more of a playmaker.
Of course.
I don't hate Evan Fournier like every Knicks fan does. I was just reasonable with the signing. People thought we were getting Kobe Bryant. He shot well from 3. I think he made the most threes in a season by a Knick of all time.
Celtic killer.
Yeah. And like when Julius Randle plays Domantas Sabonis, when Evan Fournier plays the Celtics, it's like if somehow Domantas Sabonis ended up on the Celtics and we played the Celtics every game of the year, the Knicks would be the dream team.
I was actually going to tweet about Evan though and say like, yeah, that changes the whole ceiling for the Knicks in a good year. It does something.
Yeah. So that's basically those are my picks.
So I like all those. Clever. Bones Highland, should see a big leap. He's ready.
He could probably win most improved too.
It's tough with the weapons Denver's already getting back.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely like that insight, and I like the decisions. Giannis, you can't go wrong with that as well. So I guess we'll kick mine off.
Jason Tatum, Malcolm Brogdon.
Tatum's odds for MVP are going to be really good. Let me just state that. So MVP, I did this last year. I can't take them off my board, and I know a lot of other writers and media people are thinking the same thing. You got to go with Doncic as the MVP.
Yeah.
This, to me, is one, and this is coming from a Jason Tatum lover, of course. I don't even have to explain it, but it's like, this is the next LeBron of our league. Tatum's one of those guys, but like this is the ultimate guy. And I think this is the best roster that shows it that the Mavs have had. Like he's awesome with Brunson, but like we said, Dinwiddie's going to fill those shoes now. Now you got the shooters that you've always had in Kleber, Tim, and Reggie. And like I said before, Bullock is a likable asset. He's a two-way guy. Of course, we know how far two-way guys go in this league, and that can knock down shots, again, with the best point guard or at least passer, arguably, in the league on your team. And you got Christian Wood, and they did what their biggest need was to fill, and that they got more physical and they bulked up a bit. But I was even going to say I would consider Kidd as a Coach of the Year candidate, but I know he's been there before and hasn't won it. I'll go with Doncic for MVP. Defensive Player of the Year, I said it before. I'll keep the pick. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. Rob Williams. I'll biasly say this. A lot of the Celtics said last year when Marcus won that they thought Rob could have won it too. And just people, I think even Marcus might have said it himself, or people around the organization, they were like, not only could he have won this, but I think he will soon. Our other anchor, I'll go with him. Like I said, besides Bam, and I guess you could argue Embiid at his healthiest, but I'm talking about centers that like guards and are great at it. Bam and Rob do that to a T, and everyone knows how big Rob was throughout our finals run. So I'll go with him as Defensive Player of the Year. Coach of the Year, everyone knows who I am obsessed with.
You're doing Coach before Most Improved, right? I didn't miss something.
No, you did not.
Okay.
Coach, I will go with Nick Nurse. Genius of the game. I said this last year, but genius of the game, or at one point maybe I said him. Maybe it was the year before, I forget. But continues to prove how he lives the game as a mastermind year after year. Everyone thinks Toronto's going to be a play-in team or worse.
They're going to be better than that.
Yes, of course. And, well, not now, but people thought that last year, and because of Nurse's coaching and, of course, the culture he already had, like guys who've been there before with their experience with the Kawhi Leonard team, guys like Siakam, guys like Fred. Fred was an all-star.
Yeah.
But the foundation Nick Nurse lays, man. And it proved the year after, everyone's like, oh, well, they had Kawhi. I'm pretty sure they were like 17-5 or something like that without him in that championship season. But it's like, he's one of my favorite coaches in the league, and Toronto continues to improve while they're such an intelligent organization. Masai Ujiri, I was telling you, I thought Durant could have went there. If they wanted to spit up any asset not named Scott Barnes, I don't think I would have done it. So yeah, Nick Nurse is my coach of the year. Most improved, it's between a couple guys.
It's tough because it's a guy that usually comes out of left field, so you kind of really have to dig and like look at like almost like advanced stats and like percentages to see like, how do I put this? He's got to be on a team, one, that he probably didn't get a lot of play last year, two, had good percentages, three, good peripherals, and four, is expected to leave a leap in offensive like share,
Yeah. And last year, me and you talked about Ja in the winter when I had that surgery, talking like Squidward. And I was like, I would give it to him just because of the leap not only Memphis made in the standings.
I think he was too good to win it.
Yeah, like you could, and it wasn't that much of a points per game upgrade, but my thing was like he became a superstar officially and put his name in the midst of those greats. So he proved like he was a top tier player in the NBA rather than a maybe all-star the year before. So then he solidified that, okay, stop your debates, I'm that dude. So then I was like, all right, like, yeah, he's only seeing like a 6-point upgrade in points per game. And like, I was saying to you, I was like, not that much, but he's taken his team to the next level as a leader. I know they were good without him, but he did that. And he proved he was a superstar. Like, simple as that. And he was an MVP candidate, as you remember, early in the year. So it's like, I'm pretty sure he made first team All-NBA as well. If not second. I'm pretty sure it was first, though. No, second, actually, because Tatum was on the first. But, yeah, so I'll stay with the Ja Morant route that we were just talking about, that, maybe they're already that dude for this choice that I'm going to make. Maybe a little early, but I'm going to stay in Jurassic Park. I'm going to stay in the Northeast. And we'll give it to Scotty Barnes. He's amazing. As the season progressed, not only did he show I'm a train and I could go right through you no matter what. Like I said to you last week, he has that Zion and Giannis effect. But he's like, okay, let me add a bag come January, February, where I can go through my legs and step back, fade on you, and nail any contested jumper, baseline or something like that. Like Tatum and Brown did as wings, he's going to develop playmaking more and more, and you even saw some flashes of it in the rookie year. His three-point percentage is going to continue to rise. I like him as a most improved player. And
Wait, who?
Scott Barnes, I said.
Oh, I thought you said John Moran again. I'm like, what?
I said I'll
Okay.
stay in his route. It might be early for Barnes to say this, but we already knew Barnes was a prodigy. But he's going to continue to show more and more. Like, he could see that superstar leap in the blink.
Yeah, he probably slipped my mind because I feel like he's too good. Like, it's
That's
one of
what-
those things. Like, I think, like I said, John Morant, in my opinion, like, if you get MVP votes, obviously you improved. Like, that was my thing, but I get, like, in logic, it makes sense. No, he might win it. Now I think about it. If they're like a top 4 seed and he's averaging 25 and 10, he's probably gonna win it.
That won't happen. But I mean, you never know. I think he can be a 20. Like, I think this could be, like I said, I just praised their foundation, that whole organization,
Culture.
everything.
They're a baby Heat.
Yeah, and I could see them just like, all right, Scott, you get the keys. Like, we know Pascal could have made the All-Star team, and Fred is our All-Star, and he's our leader. But Scott, you could be the number 2 guy. Like, this is your keys to take, and this is your calling. And like, he's a baby, but he's great, man. Like, and no one really. I think it was Durant's like first outing against them, like early in the season, and Toronto kind of ran the Nets out of Air Canada Center, and Durant was like, man, how old is he? 19? He was like, oh my God, like, he's gonna be a train.
Yeah.
I'll go with him. What do we got next? That was my most improved.
6 man is the last thing you got.
Malcolm Brogdon. And, I got to take the biased choice because I feel like he's a beautiful fit. Like, all right, so you got. I like the choice of Bones Highland, like I said to you. I like a choice of Spencer Dinwiddie. If, like we said before, if they don't put him in the starting lineup, which they should. Yeah. And there's other candidates that you can go with. Even Reggie Jackson, if the Clippers move him there.
I would still roll with him starting, to be honest.
Yeah. Nah, with my one seed.
John Wall, like, he hasn't played in 2 years.
Can't say that for my one-seeded Clippers.
Oh my God! You want to talk? You want to talk about Kemba Walker?
It's different though, because he's one of the most athletic point guards ever, and
so is Kemba Walker. Not ever, but
it's just John Wall. Though. Like, you don't need him.
Oh, hold on. If anything, that makes it worse because if he relies on his athleticism and he misses time with knee injuries, we saw what happened to Derrick Rose.
Yeah, but Kemba. The Celtics and Knicks needed him to score. Like, John, you can.
Yeah, I'm aware.
16 points. Give us 16 plus. Give us 8 plus assists. That's what I want out of John. And John's gonna have nights where he gives you a vintage 20 and 10. It's not consistently, even though he probably will prove people wrong, like he did in Houston. I could see, but yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of 6-mans you could choose from, and I like the choice in Poole again, but I'll go with Brogdon. I'll take the biased way. I don't think Rob Williams is a very biased choice, but Brogdon may be. I'll say him just because he's like a beautiful 6-man to me. I knew he was like that the Celtics were going to roll with the same 5, rightfully so, as soon as they acquired him. That's immediately what they said. As you know, makes life a lot easier for the core, for the Jays and Smart. And, there's going to be times where, like, him and Marcus played again, especially with this Rob stuff, if he's not ready in the beginning of the year. And even if you wanted to relieve him or Al when the team's fully healthy, even with or without Gallinari. Not that he will be in much of fourth quarters, as we know, but you could play Malcolm and Marcus together. One of them's having a down game. You could sit one of them at some point in the fourth, even though, like, we know Marcus's importance to Boston. That won't be happening much. But you're going to see a lot of positionless ball and, like, a guy that will be, as I've said to you a bunch, a calm playmaker and scorer and elite shooter from the outside that this team needed. So I think that's everything you want out of a sixth man that, like, again, Brad Stevens filled the need. So a ball handler, one that's not going to – again, I don't – even before they acquired him, like I said to you, I don't think that if we made it back to the finals and we didn't have Brogdon, that, like, the Jays and Smart will turn the ball over as much as they did. But, like, he certainly helps and protects it more. A good ball handler, an intelligent playmaker and scorer, a team guy that just makes life a lot easier. And there was a reason why executives in the summer after we got him, you might have saw it on, like, NBA Central. I think I showed you. They were like, yeah, it actually pisses me off that the Celtics got him. Like, he's going to be really good for them. And, like, I'm pissed about that. Like, because one, he's a team first guy, and this is a perfect spot for him, whether it's starting or coming off the bench. And to me, he's just a perfect sixth man. So I'll go with him if he could stay healthy at that role. And
you have any bold predictions?
The Atlanta Hawks will be in the play-in still.
I don't think that's bold, but okay.
Not really bold, but, like, you see all these writers that are like I said, like Sixers, Celtics, Hawks, are teams, or writers' top teams of the best offseason in their opinion. Okay, but, like, and DeJounte Murray's awesome, as we saw last year. Borderline all-star. Maybe shouldn't have been borderline. In some people's eyes, I was saying it at that time, and others. But it's like, this dude's a kid. Not really. He just turned 26 yesterday, same birthday as Trey. Actually, I don't know if you saw that, not to get off topic, but someone tweeted there, like, what two NBA All-Stars were teammates with the same birthday? And I quoted it, and I was like, Gordon and Kyrie were for the time they were together. And Gordon was an All-Star going from Utah to Boston, so it counts. But I just, like, it's the Hawks. Yeah, you gave up the picks, and, like, you're not giving up much in Gallinari for how much has he played, and you get an all-star. But it's like, how is this going to fit? And if it's one player, again, you're relying on Clint Capella's health. You're relying on John Collins becoming more comfortable and more adaptable in the system. And what I said to you last week, you're relying on DeAndre Hunter and his leap.
Yeah.
And that's their most pressured player this year. And it's just, they're going to improve, and they're going to surprise and show a lot of improvement throughout the year. But it's like, to me, you don't just get one non-shooting guard that just fills the sheet, and you're not going to go from a play-in squad to a top 4 team.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's the first hot take and bold take that I can think of. I agree with you on the Steve Nash front.
I don't know. I genuinely don't think that's even bold.
It's definitely not. So I certainly agree with you there. I guess a couple of the things we said last week. I think the Suns will drop, and I think the Clippers can be the 1 seed if healthy.
That's probably the boldest thing, Clippers being the 1 seed.
Yeah, and I guess, you said the ultimate one yourself with them being a 3 seed, but I think the Cavs can be better than the Heat. I think they'll be better than Miami, so I guess that's another bold take of mine. I'll definitely think of more throughout training camp, but, like, and I definitely have a million bottled up in my head, but the first thing I think of is I don't see the Atlanta hype. I really don't.
Sleep on the land. Don't sleep on the land.
I guess another bold take, couple guys off the top of my head that we could see. First of all, Jaylen Brown will be back in the All-Star game. Cross that off. He'll also, if you want to call this bold, I don't think so, will be a candidate for an All NBA spot. Cross that off.
Okay.
What else? RJ Barrett, like I said to you before we were recording, I think he could be an all-star first-timer. I think Kyle Kuzma can. There's a bunch of guys, of course, like as we've seen, both conferences are loaded. I think Rob Williams can eventually. I don't know if it's this year or if he's ready, but he will soon. And so all-star worthy, like those are pretty much my bold takes. Again, Westbrook will bounce back. I think Schroeder's going to be really good for the Lakers. Finally, my guy got signed. First time we're doing a pod since. I was just about to say something else, too. I forget. About one of the conferences. I guess that's pretty much it. I was talking about the All-Stars. No, I think Miami can dip. Oh, I guess that's what I was going to say. My other one is what I said. If this Lonzo thing continues to play Chicago, Chicago will also be where I think were they 4? No, they were the 6th seed. I think they'll be easily below that, if not the play-in.
Yeah, I think so too, because they were like top 3 and then they just fell. And you're afraid that it's going to keep falling.
Yeah, like he's their quarterback, as we know. Like they'll get great individual play out of the 2 shooting wings and Vooch and Patty Williams. And we like, what's his name? Bill Donovan. We like him a lot. I think he was minor year pick last year for Coach of the Year. We did him in the winter, but
yeah,
it's just Dragic could be a good replacement too. But it's like there's a plethora of teams I'll pick over you in the East if the guy who gets you going isn't there, and we don't know when he's going to be there. So those are my couple of random bold takes.
Yep. I think that's it. And we covered everything. I mean, like I said, it's been slow. We're trying. We got some football involved this week. We genuinely got football involved this week. 1 week close. Yeah. 1 week closer. I don't think we're going to be recapping preseason games on here, but we will keep track if anyone gets hurt. Things are going to happen. LeBron, his head bald. But besides that, I think that's all we got. You got anything else, Rob?
Nothing, man. Media day next Monday. I cannot wait to cover.
I'm sure we'll get something to talk about with that.
Yeah, can't wait to cover that. Probably what players are saying quotes-wise and shit like that, especially. Less than 2 weeks till preseason, less than a month till the season, October 18th, almost there. Us and the Sixers and Warriors and Lakers. My favorite time of year. Cannot wait. So, yeah, we'll be back next week. Anything you're writing?
I actually have news with that. I am no longer with that company. I'm gonna try and incorporate a blog into Sports Bible and get us on a website where me and you, and I'm gonna ask some other friends if anyone's out there is looking for a place to write, let me know. I'm gonna try to get something going with that just so I can kind of write at my own pace without having any standard or any quota. I would have to hit start, and I'm gonna also try to start making YouTube videos again. I'm gonna come back with it. Baseball playoffs. I'm gonna do my baseball predictions for playoffs. So if you guys are on the lookout for that, I know one of my videos did decently well for like a page with no subscribers. But besides that, I've gotten better equipment in the last week or two, so that has helped me a lot. This looks a little clearer. I'm sorry, I still don't have a backdrop. I might be getting one. But we're working on it. We're trying to improve every day as much as we can as a small podcast. We're not the biggest yet, but we know that. But besides that, I think we're just going to keep going through. We enjoy doing it, and we enjoy everyone that listens to it. We appreciate you guys, and numbers are consistently kind of low. Not like they're consistently the same, like no big jump. Yeah, we had one podcast pop. The last couple have starting to increase a little bit, specifically on YouTube. So I guess you guys like to see our faces, but anyway, I think that's all I got. So
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I told you beginning of the summer, one of our first pods, maybe in August, before the injury, that I was writing a Gallinari story. I'm actually almost done with the Derek White story. So I'm trying to get back on the consistent, type and grind as we head into training camp, not just about Celtics, but about around the league, of course. I was going to write about Kyrie and stuff too. But yeah, it's pretty much it. And then
Yep.
working on this and yeah,
all right. Well,
basketball.
we will see you guys next Tuesday. So have a
Yes,
good night. And see you guys later. You guys know where to find us and have a good one.
CBS, we love you. See you, my friend.
Not the drugstore, the studio.
Yep.